Good morning, everybody. It is July 10th today. Sorry about the wind. I do have my mic on, but it's still probably going to be pretty dang windy. I'm just getting over a cold, so I am talking a little bit more like a duck than normal. But this is the South Farm. We have not burnt up, but we are continuing to burn up very quickly and very bad. We are consistently getting these 35K winds, which are pretty dang typical here in July. And we are getting the heat to go with it. We're rocking 34 degrees yesterday, and you can't go 34 degrees with this kind of wind and not your crop go up in smoke. So this is durum, a pretty poor crop of durum. So you can tell where there's little bits of chunks of moisture right down there and that little bit of a slough. There's going to be a little something down there. You get those little wee patches, basically wherever a deer peed. Wherever there was moisture, wherever a gopher peed or somewhere, you're going to have a little patch. Another little slough right over there. Side hill, obviously nothing. This is what we got. It's actually pushing head, and it's, well, that's probably, realistically, that's probably 8 inches. But guys, this is, we're only July 10th. This is our hot month. We have just entered our hot month. And we've also entered the month that we get the least amount of rain typically. May and June are our wet months, which we didn't see anything in June. So give you an update if you're just queuing in with us now. We had good sufficient rains. We had good snow this spring during seeding. But, whew, it's windy. The rains quit. The wind started. The heat turned on. And the rest is history. Our crops are burning up faster than Trudeau can spend money. And that is really saying something. Look at this. This isn't even going to produce a head. This is going to die. It's basically already dead. That's gone, you guys. No, look at it. No, let's try to put a head out right here. Look at this. Right here. It's not going to fill, though. It's not going to fill. And then you walk over here. You get these little clumps of moisture for whatever reason. Still poor. And then you're going to get something in here, just like what we did last year. All right? But the problem is the field average is going to be really, really poor. You might get 20 bushel in here, but then you're going to get 0 bushel here. And you're going to have about 5 bushel up on that hill. So it's really hard to say what's going to yield, but it is going to be another disaster. It's basically what I'm trying to tell you. It's going to be another disaster. So that's unfortunate, you guys. That's really unfortunate. That's our 3rd year in a row. We didn't expect it. Since the year started off so well, we actually risked a little bit more. Not crazy, but we put a little more inputs into the soil, into the ground to grow a little better crop. I guess that will still be here. Crop isn't using it. But yeah, that's it. And you can clearly see over the whole field. Zoom in. Way out over there. Ain't gonna be nothing on those hills. Nothing. So this is pretty average across the farm. There is some fields that are better than others, but then there's fields that are worse than this. Look more like that down there. So let's walk across here. I got some lentils. We'll go take a look at those lentils. Okay, so the lentils this year are very, they're heat waving too, but it's super hard to tell that in lentils, okay? Without actually seeing it in person. But these lentils are actually, they look pretty dang good right now. You gotta remember that pulses, once they get dry, they shrink up come harvest time. But these look pretty good. So what we're looking for is grasshopper pressure and aphid pressure. So aphids, it's just They're a little green. Also, you just walk in these things a little bit and then check your pant legs. Aphids are suckers, which means they'll suck the moisture out of the pods and abort the seed. They're a pretty big yield robber, like I mentioned in the video up north. Here's one. This is pretty good if there's only one or two. Right there. See him? Yep. Aphid pressure is pretty low. A little bit of hoppers jumping around. Hard to say what these lentils are going to yield. They can't yield worse than they did last year. I'm hoping for maybe, well, it's hard to say, but I'm kind of hoping for like 8 or so, 8 bushel. That's what I'd be hoping for, which would be about 7 3/4 bushels and better than was last year. But the cereals are going to be not good. They're taking a butt kicking. Mike, how come the cereals are taking a way worse butt kicking than the lentils? A lot of it is seeding time dependent. So all the first stuff we seeded, which you got to remember we seeded our cereals. Our wheat was first actually. Actually, our late durum is taking a butt kicking too. The cereals are just taking a butt kicking. The lentils don't draw out as much moisture, but the lentils we might see it here pretty soon. You can tell that the leaves are burning off on the bottom. It's not a very good sign yet, considering that they should just be flowering. So I don't think we've seen our damage come yet like we have on our cereals, because it looks pretty good. Well, the good news is they're getting lots of stress to pod. Lentils like some stress to pod. See if we got any more aphids on me? No, really hardly any. Really hardly any aphid pressure here. There's a field at the farm that has like ridiculous amount of aphid pressure. We have to spray it right away. All right, one more field of lentils here. When you can look at the grass in the ditch and it's yellow, like you would think it's September out here, that's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. Definitely a few hoppers jumping. And also you shouldn't be able to see between your rows in lentils. That's also not a good sign. Doesn't matter if it's 12-inch row. Doesn't matter, they'll fill in. So let's see if I can zoom in. You can kind of see where it's kind of a darker color here. Let's see here. All right, right down in there you can see, looks like it's decent lentils, and then up on that side hill it's dark, it's thin, not so good lentils. And again, good there, not so good there. They're also heat wavy. It's harder to see that in lentils. It's heat wavy in here. There. See, that's good. They're already filled in. And around here is not. See, it looks good there, but not over here. So definitely not a good crop of lentils. That's for sure. Tell you that right now. Right here, it's very thin. So, time's gonna tell, guys. Time's gonna tell. And I'm just gonna show you these lentils. You can see the hoppers jumping. There's a lot of grasshoppers here, unfortunately. We've been spraying for hoppers a lot, and now it's going to come down to how many applications do you go? Because if if you're only going to get a 5 bushel or 8 bushel lentil yield, that's not good enough. See all those hoppers jumping? It's not a good sign, you guys. That's not a good sign. And now we made it over to some durum. This is some late seeded durum. This is actually the last field we seeded. You remember the drills were coming up over this hilltop, and this durum is not going to amount to anything. It is 33 degrees out currently, and it's quite breezy. And the grasshoppers are cleaning it off. We have sprayed this field once, the whole field, and we've come in and sprayed the ditch, the road allowance, and everything around here first round yet again because they keep working their way in. But this is not going to come back. This is dead. And they pretty much have done that around the whole perimeter. They took a little bit of that hilltop off right there. They're still out here, but they're flying now. The grasshoppers are flying, so they can come in from anywhere. This durum is really, it's pretty small. But look at this. It's going to shoot out a little head here. Isn't that something? It's only 4 inches tall. It's going to try to shoot a head. It's literally just running out of moisture. It hasn't rained out here since we seeded it. Oh yeah, look at the grasshoppers. They've definitely taken out a long way right here. Yeah, that's grasshopper damage. Ooh, it's windy. If we don't get some rain on this pretty soon, it's going to do what that wheat did, and it's going to burn up and die. It's not even going to do anything. It's just going to burn up and die. Well, we'll head back to the truck, but like I was saying, if we don't get some rain on this, we won't even bring a combine out here. I think there's nothing. Like, July and August are our hot months. We've already gone through our supposedly wet months. Oh man, we haven't seen burn yet. You just give it another month, then we're gonna see some burn. We just pulled up to another part of the field here. You can see the hopper damage around the perimeter, all the way around. Kind of around anywhere where there's grass. You can see right here around these trees, goes around that perimeter. So there's still some grasshoppers. We have sprayed this, like I told you. And I should mention that some of this stuff has been sprayed with, you know, an insecticide that gives up to 2 weeks. 2 weeks residual. So there ain't nothing here. We've cleaned it off from that grass this way. Cleaned it off from those trees this way. A nice little wee patch in here ain't gonna do nothing. Cleaned it all off over here. Notice there's no hoppers jumping. That's a good sign. A couple, but some around the perimeter there. Probably on this side of these trees too. Yep. Not as bad though. Take a look at some of these plants. Got some bite marks. Chewed up. Definitely chewed up. Still some grasshoppers out here. But there's nothing we can do about that. Those grasshoppers aren't going away. In fact, they're probably still going to come in. And I would think at the stage of this crop, without any rain, oh, it's still okay. There's more out here yet. This crop might do 5 bushel, maybe. Maybe. That's what I would hope for. It's 5 bushel. but the leaves are burning off already. That's not a good sign. Look at this, it's trying to push out a little head way down here in the bottom. Right there, it's got the head in it. Right there. Right there, the head is right in there. Isn't that something? That's crazy. Well, not much we can do about it, guys. Not much we can do. Stay tuned for the next crop tour. You guys haven't seen nothing yet. Haven't seen nothing yet, unfortunately. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Adios, amigos.